And away we go.
Alright, so, how's your day going so far?
My day has been fabulous.
Yeah, mine too. Just got home from work and it's a very nice day. It's actually in the 80s. But enough about that. What's in the news today?
US robot makers hope to beat China in humanoid race. Tariffs could affect their ambitions.
Interesting. Let's hear more about that news. Actually, does
US
sound interesting.
robot makers are facing challenges in competing with China's humanoid robots amid President Donald Trump's tariffs and retaliatory measures against China. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, warned that China's restrictions on rare earth magnets will delay the development of Tesla's humanoid robots. Tony
Hmm.
Yang, a vice president at Unitree, mentioned that tariffs of 145% on China would raise the cost of their robots to around 40,000 US dollars for American buyers.
I will say it's interesting. It's not surprising that the US is kind of struggling with in the race with China, with humanoid robots. China has a way of, it kind of just has way better development, technological development than the United States of America. So it's like I'm not necessarily that surprised on that. I mean, of course, China is winning. I'm not rooting for either one, but I will say, best of luck to the U.S. and China, because I am in the U.S. So of course I'm going to say best of luck, but also best of luck to China because they seem like they are definitely far ahead of us when it comes to that. So therefore, man, best of luck to both sides. Tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. We keep hearing about the dang tariffs. Like, bro,
Just put them in already and get
right,
it over with.
exactly. But yeah, as for the humanoid robot, not excited about that. Doesn't have me jumping up and down in the air for excitement. I'm pretty sure it has other people excited. I'm pretty sure it has, especially people who struggle with socializing with the common folk every single day excited. They're wondering when we're going to get these robots, these humanoid robots, so that they can, oh, talk with them, have dinner with them, seem like they have a girlfriend, or, you know, I'm not even going to put it on girls because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, seem like they have a girlfriend even though they don't. But hey, we're going to see where that goes, and yeah, that's all I got to say.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so, alright. Is there anything else in the news?
Chile issues tsunami warning after earthquake.
Oh, wow, an earthquake. We've been talking about earthquakes all year so far.
Well, not a lot, but some.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, yeah, no, that's right. Actually, no, you're right. I think the main thing we've talked about a lot of natural disasters. That's my point. That's my point.
Yes.
Not just one specific one. Just like we've talked about a lot. But yeah, is there any more in the news?
The quake occurred at a shallow depth of 10 kilometers, prompting Chile and US agencies to issue tsunami warnings due to the risk of hazardous waves. Authorities evacuated coastal areas in Chile's Magallanes region and the Chilean Antarctic territory, while Argentina suspended water activities and navigation in Ushuaia's Behele Channel. Chile's President Gabriel Boric called for calm and instructed the evacuation of the Mahala coastline, assuring that all necessary support and measures are in place to handle any emergencies.
Hmm. Okay, well, I'm just gonna hope that those people get, are safe and sound. And I hope that their family, that no one was killed in the process. And yeah, because this is a serious situation. I mean, I've not really had to deal with that many earthquakes, but there was one earthquake I think earlier this year that shook New York actually, and yeah, wasn't as big, but I get it. Definitely a scary situation, so I'm just hoping and praying that the people will get out safely, and that they're all safe and sound, and that no one is hurt in the process. But yeah, it's definitely a huge emergency to look out for anywhere in the world. But Chile, you have my condolences.
Yes, even if it was a 7.4 magnitude earthquake.
Exactly. Like, and I 100% agree. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
GTA 6 delayed. May 2026 is new
Uh,
release date for Rockstar's sequel.
oh, come on! Delayed?
Yes.
I mean, I'll be honest. I want to play the game, but I need to get the system first. But delayed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming out in 2026, but it's delayed until a couple more months for a couple until a couple more months ahead.
Many, many months.
Many months.
Are we even surprised at this point?
No,
Yes, there we go.
not you know. Fine. You know what? I don't even have a system, so
Yeah,
why do I
like, what's even the point?
I don't even have a PS4 or 5, so why do I care?
Yes, what's the point making the fuss if you don't have the thing that you need to even play the game to begin with?
That's true, and I'm definitely not playing it on PC. I'm not a PC guy, so it's like, you know what? Fine. That was for the people who've been waiting for years for GTA to come out. So yeah, that was for them. Let's just say that. But hey, you know, hey, the best games get delayed. Obviously, they probably got some more things they got to put in there. And Rockstar, I hope they do not disappoint their fan base with this like 10-year wait. How many years? Like what? Like when did GTA come out? Like 2013, right?
Yeah,
I assume either 12 or 13-year wait.
yeah.
One of those two. I'm pretty sure it's a 12-year wait. So like, hey, we've been, people have only been waiting 12 years for this game. So yeah, I guess like I'd probably delay it too if I wanted it to be perfect or mostly perfect. Nothing is ever perfect, but like yeah, mostly perfect. So hey, Rockstar, take all the time you need as long as there's nothing stupid in that game. And cool, you know. I do wonder though, will it be progressive? I think the most they'll do is just simply put a female like protagonist, which I'm not even really against, to be honest. It's a video game. I'm pretty sure it'll complement it somehow. But hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. So, anything else in the news?
Duolingo ditches more contractors in AI first refocus.
Interesting. I didn't even know Duolingo was working with AI.
How do people not know?
I just don't use Duolingo.
Fair enough, but still, uh, at some point, people are going to know that AI has been a contributor to most of Duolingo's success, but now they're going all out on it.
Oh, really? What are they doing?
Duolingo CEO Louis von Ahn announced on April 28, 2025, the company will shift to an AI-first approach by phasing out contractors in Pittsburgh. This move follows Duolingo's prior reduction of contract workers and intends to replace tasks AI can automate with hiring and reviews, also integrating AI. Van An compared the AI shift to Duolingo's 2020 mobile-first bet, stressing urgency despite AI imperfection and aiming to remove bottlenecks rather than replace users. The company will only approve new roles when automation is impossible. It expects many functions to fundamentally change and will provide employees AI training and tools. Duolingo's AI-first strategy implies significant workflow restructuring, potentially reducing some jobs while enabling focus on creative tasks and maintaining care for employees.
Duolingo is definitely making some major moves in the AI atmosphere.
Yes,
Yes. So I will say that AI will definitely be a huge contributor, which was stated by you, by the article, and which was said by the article. And yeah, like Duolingo has definitely been in the game for years and years, man, trying to not get out of the game for years and years and years and years to come. So, hey, whatever Duolingo has to do, let's just hope that it doesn't get people out of a job. Let's face it, it will someday.
Yeah.
But hey, regardless, Duolingo is definitely doing exactly what they should be doing. So, let's just see where this goes next.
But the thing is, although they're doing what they believe they should be doing, a lot of users on Duolingo, and I've seen a lot of videos and posts on TikTok, Instagram, and other social media platforms, their reaction to this news, they're like, I'm going to give up my 100 or 1,000 day streak because they're using AI, they're just greedy for money, I'm going to delete the app, mass unfollow, May something or June something 2025, and yeah, I get that. I get that we should never use AI as a replacement, but instead use it as either a substitute or a model for training employees. But even with the reaction of the people that have used Duolingo for who knows how many years, and I did talk about this bug on Duolingo where you can't gain extra hearts on the mobile app. You had the the most extensive stretch, the biggest stretch you can do to get hearts on Duolingo is going on the mobile webs on mobile device or on computer to get hearts and practice there. I did talk about that a while back, and this applies to right now when they say they're going to implement AI. The thing is, they do not give a damn. They can wait. They cannot even address any of the issues that the users are bringing forward, and they'll still be financially stable. They're still going to have the money and the finances to pay whatever employees they have left. Most importantly, they're still going to have the money to keep the servers up. So if people at Duolingo did not care about this specific bug that I have talked about, that has gone on for months, which they did not need to fix, but yet they fixed it, what makes people think when they announce that AI is going to be used on Duolingo, and people at Duolingo should be worried that people are not going to use Duolingo again because of use the AI, what do they think is going to happen? From my experience, I think Duolingo is still going to continue for many years to come. No matter how many users stop using Duolingo, it's still going to stay afloat. Duolingo is still going to be used by many people for many years to come. And of course, whatever comes out of Duolingo with AI, there's always going to be, well, much more changes. When I talk about changes, I'm not talking about the bad stuff, but there could be good out of it as well, so long as the intention is pure and it's not entirely abusive, manipulative, or corrupt. You know, just see how it goes.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And for the most part, you are absolutely right. And Duolingo is not going to, they're not going to sweat it if a certain amount of people stop using Duolingo. The only time they'll actually sweat something is if they were on the verge of going broke. Then yes, they would be forced to do something. But for the time being, yeah, they're like, yeah, we don't care. They're not going to address anything. They're just going to just let people complain until they're forced to address something, which they probably won't really give you an answer to, even if they did address it. They'd probably say, working on this, working on that, yada yada yada, we'll have it fixed for you in a bit, but they won't really be doing anything behind the scenes because ultimately speaking, the company entirely has a bunch of money to fall back on. So therefore, yeah, once again, it's no meat off their bone when it comes down to this. So they'll implement AI, they'll implement what they have to implement, And whether if it's for the better or for the worse of the app, they have money.
Yeah.
So they pretty much they can afford to make mistakes. They can
Yes.
afford to make mistakes. So therefore, it's like, look, it just yeah, it's just ultimately like yeah, it's just a matter of actually no, it's not a matter of anything. They can literally afford to make mistakes. That's all. Like look, if they mess up one time, fine. They'll dust off their feet and they'll try not to mess up another time, and they'll earn that money that they lost back. That's pretty much the main thing. They'll earn it back. They have money to
Yes.
fall back on, and they'll just earn it back. So you know. That's Duolingo for you. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what comes of this, what comes of Duolingo in the future. Right now, obviously, the distant future, we'll see if they pretty much endure and stand the test of time. Which, let's face it, they will. They will.
Yep. And of course, February of this year, they said the Duolingo owl, quote unquote, unalive, and people are saying it's a foreshadow of something. So why weren't people being so concerned if they believe that the death of Duolingo was inevitable, especially
Oh
hearing
wow,
the news about AI implementation?
are they
So
rebrand?
there's a lot to think about. There's lots of dots to connect, and yeah, all I can say is congratulations, you fell for the trap.
Exactly. Like, wow, unaliving the owl. That's crazy.
Yes, that was a marketing publicity stunt where the Duolingo owl was unalive, and this was like, and I remember this fondly because this was close to Valentine's Day, so at the time people thought, oh, the Duolingo owl is just desperate for attention. But now people are going back to it saying this is a foreshadow, like this is the death of what Duolingo is because they're using AI and people in charge of Duolingo is greedy and trying to cut costs and whatnot. So
Huh.
there was so much to talk about and lots of dots to connect from there.
Mark, you think Duolingo, like, I mean, well, they had to have approved it, but it's like they had to have approved it, but it's like ultimately speaking, it's like yeah, it's like it's just foreshadowing the literal death of Duolingo because of AI.
But they didn't think about that at the time, which is the funny thing. But although they could, but that's the it could go either way. But whatever it is that happened this year, I will say that is the most genius marketing I have ever seen. There's no arguing that it is not the best marketing strategy that anyone could have ever seen. I'll give them credit for that because there is there's so much lore, there's so much origins and backstory that goes into all that stuff.
That is true. That is definitely true. You know, I mean, hey, it got a lot of people watching, so it got a lot of people paying attention. So hey, I would say definitely, definitely very smart because I'm pretty sure a lot of people love Duolingo, and yeah, that was definitely a smart move to make. Maybe that wasn't their intention, but it was definitely a smart move to make in getting more attention, more eyes on Duolingo. So hey, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens next with them and see if this truly marks the death of Duolingo as a whole, or just simply a new era. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But is there anything else in the news?
Soviet-era spacecraft set to plunge to Earth a half-century after failed launch to Venus.
I think the name Venus is also a sick joke. But alright, anyways. Oh wow. You said it's gonna plummet to like Earth, you said?
Yes, the Soviet spacecraft Cosmos 482, launched on March 31st, 1972, is expected to re-enter Earth's atmosphere around May 10th of 2025. Cosmos 482 never left Earth orbit due to a rocket malfunction that shut down the upper stage prematurely after launch from Kazakhstan. The probe's heat-shielded descent module, designed to survive Venus's atmosphere, has been gradually losing altitude due to atmospheric drag 1.7-degree orbit. At just under 500 kilograms and above 1 meter wide, a lander may survive re-entry and impact Earth at about 150 miles per hour, with risks similar to meteorite falls, says space expert Marco Langbroek.
Well, I can't confirm nor deny if this is true or not. All we can do is sit back and wait and see if it actually happens. If it does happen, no meat off my bone. If it doesn't happen, no meat off my bone. I'm not going to try to disprove it or prove it. We're just going to wait and see what happens next. And, well, let's we're also gonna wait and see if it causes any like damage towards something that we know of or something or someone or like something in general. So yeah, not gonna say I'm excited, not gonna say I'm not excited, but definitely interested to see if that actually does hit back on Earth centuries after it launched. It would definitely be interesting to hear about that. It'll definitely also be interesting to see how old it looks now. So hey, dude, I say like um, go for it. Let's just see if it hits Earth this year or next year or the year after that. I thought you were gonna say like way far in the future, like 2040 or something, or 2035. But yeah, let's just see what happens. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So for the most part, generally speaking, it would definitely be interesting to see. It would definitely be interesting to see, like, it would definitely be interesting to see, like, what they can make of that rocket that they launched to Venus. Still think that name was a very shit joke, but it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, and hopefully they'll find something that's substantial. Maybe they'll find some life force that's outside of Earth. Maybe they'll find some life force that they have not found before. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But regardless, we just have to wait and see.
Indeed.
Exactly. So, anything else in the news?
Snake have bitten this man hundreds of times. His blood could help make a better treatment.
Huh, interesting. His blood can help make a better treatment.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, let's read about it. What do you mean by
Tim Freed, bitten by venomous snakes over 200 times, mainly on purpose at his Wisconsin home, has developed immunity that scientists are studying. Freed acquired immunity by injecting increasingly larger doses of venom from many deadly snakes during nearly 18 years of self-immunization. Researchers led by S26 identified two antibodies in Freed's blood that neutralize venom from multiple snake species including cobras, mambas, and krites. Dr. Jacob Glanville said the antibody cocktail provided full protection from 13 to 19 deadly snake species tested in mice, with partial protection for others.
that? Well, I will say this. It is definitely an interesting discovery for scientists to study. Because ultimately speaking, you can help out a bunch of people with the blood that man possessed. Getting bit over 200 times and not dying from that poisonous snake venom. That's
It's
actually
dang-
very
it's
impressive.
it's dangerous work, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely dangerous work, but it was definitely worth it because, well, now scientists can study your blood to see if they can make a cure for all of humanity. I would say that's the best way to contribute to humanity so that we won't die from venomous snakes. But yeah, it's like, especially if we discover them and they bite us. But hey, we're just going to say that, that man truly did some work. he risked his life, and he definitely delivered on like the American people who were interested in this type of discovery. So I'll be honest. Initially, when I heard that story, I thought you were gonna say like the venomous snake died itself. That definitely would have been something interesting. Like imagine if a snake died from biting you. You would have
Hmm.
been, yeah, right?
Yeah, that would be strange.
Yeah. I mean, like, imagine, though, you'd be a different type of animal, a different type of human if a snake died from biting you. In fact, dude, that'd be great. You'd even donate your blood to, like, discover, like, why the snake died from it biting you, and you not die from it, but from the snake biting you itself. But yeah, like, definitely that guy has very interesting blood. You know, obviously, there are some people who are just simply built different.
They sure are.
Exactly. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I've said it once and I'll say it again. It's very dangerous work, but if he made it through, he has made great contribution to science. And hopefully, no one will ever have to go through what many people have unfortunately had to go through.
Amen to that. Amen to that. But and that's true though. That's true because like a lot of people have definitely died from like snake bites and snake venom. So yeah, therefore, man, if you can make an antidote for it, that'd be great. You know, it would contribute to society. It would contribute to like people who recklessly or accidentally get bitten by venomous snakes. And yeah, for the most part, it would just be contributing all around. So I personally have no problem with it. I personally don't. And I'm pretty sure you don't. So therefore, let's just see what happens from here. Hopefully something will actually come from this. And hopefully something will actually be developed in the lab. Hopefully something will actually be developed in the lab. So therefore, yeah, so like, definitely gonna keep an eye out for that. Definitely gonna see if they, report on that more. And definitely going to see if, well, more people have experienced not dying from a venomous snake. All the more. They're obviously gonna test that on someone first before they take it to the general public, or they might not even put it in the general public. Who knows? You know
Yeah,
how you know. I mean, they made a whole story on it. Is it really a secret? I mean,
you may hear about it now, but how long will it be until we hear about it again?
would
The
assume.
media works in mysterious ways. You may hear about something, but over time, it just phases out from our state of mind because we're always hearing about stuff that goes on in the world, and of course, to some extent, many people get distracted by some of the little things that goes on, to the point that we may not pay attention to whatever details could change our lives forever.
True, actually. How long until the media reports this again? I will give it 20 years or 10 years. But that's just being nice. I'll give it 10 to 20 years. It could be longer until they report about it again, but for the most part, it's not going to get reported about for a very long time. And by the time they report it again, the antidote would have probably been already developed, quite earlier actually, quite earlier than it did. They're probably just going to find a way to somehow make a profit off of it if they do decide to bring it out to the public, and they're pretty much just going to sell it back to us. Essentially, that's what they're going to do. They're going to sell it back to us for, yeah, for profit, for lots of profit. So therefore, it's like, yeah, if we get bitten by snakes and we're on the verge of dying, they're just gonna put a price tag on it. And then when we get it, feel better. We're gonna feel like $1 bucks, and we won't ever think about that. unless we're just telling a story, unless we're just trying to tell a cool story or something. Like, yeah, I was in the jungle and a venomous snake bit me, and then I wrestled that venomous snake to the ground, and we tussled. And that snake just kept biting me, biting me, biting me. But I hit it with my famous elbow drop, and I stomped on it, and I suplexed it. Took it to suplex city, yada 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 yada. That's all fine and dandy. But it's not gonna be fun once you have to pay like almost half a million for an antidote. But hey, that's just me though. That's just me. Some people
Very
just like
true.
snakes. Yeah. So I mean, definitely gonna be a while before they report on this again. But they're welcome to prove me wrong. I actually wouldn't mind if they did. For one, prove me wrong. Report it. I probably still won't be wrong about them putting a price tag on it, but prove me wrong. So hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. So, anything else in the news?
Amazon to spend $4 billion on small town delivery expansion. Amazon plans to invest $4 billion by the end of 2026 to enhance its rural delivery services in the United States. This expansion will add over 200 delivery stations, tripling Amazon's rural delivery network. The investment is expected to create over 100,000 new jobs in various positions. The main goal of this initiative is to provide faster shipping times to more regions of the nation.
We'll say this: Amazon's definitely taking a huge gamble, but they can afford to take that huge gamble. They can afford it. There's not really much I want to say, but just simply good luck. That's all I have to say. Do you have any words?
Well, I don't have much to say. I know that as for companies as big as Amazon, well, why wouldn't you expand? You got to scale out because if you don't, well, someone's going to do it for you, and it's not going to be in your benefit.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Definitely, if you don't expand, it's not going to be in your benefit. You're not going to help yourself, nor are you going to help whoever is your successor or is the next in line to be the CEO of Amazon. But yeah, it's like for the long run, it's just best for Amazon to do. And yeah, once again, I really have no more thoughts on. I really have no other thoughts on Amazon other than just good luck with doing it. And I wish them, we see nothing but the best. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Africans say a black pope would be nice to have, but they are not too hopeful.
That would definitely be interesting to have a black pope.
Yes.
Imagine. I mean, shoot, we got Obama, so I mean, have a black. Why not have a black pope? I feel like I don't know why, but I do feel like that would just turn some people off to the just because like just because there's a black dude being the pope. That would definitely be an interesting turn of things. I will say that. I would definitely be interesting to see a black pope. Wouldn't make me convert to Catholicism, but it would definitely be interesting to see. Also, yeah, why would a racist person do that? But anyways, yeah, that. But yeah, it's like yeah, it's not. I don't think it's in the books right now or at all for them to even introduce a black pope. But if there was a black pope, it would be interesting to see how um he would lead the church, for better or for worse, for good or for bad, for darkness. Yeah, that's all I got. But yeah, like I think it would be very interesting. I guess in a way the Africans are right to like not be as hopeful because it might not even it's probably not gonna happen. Not saying they should lose all hope. It could happen. It definitely could happen. But I would say like very devout black Catholic would have to kind of step up to the plate. That's pretty much it. But other than that, it's definitely an interesting thing to consider and talk about. And yeah, I would hope to be alive to see that day. Dude, I was a kid. Shoot, I was a kid when Barack Obama became president. I'm probably gonna be somewhere in my fees when the first black pope comes into the Catholic Church. If there was even if that person would be the first black pope, I would have to go back in history to see if historically what their races were. I'm pretty sure they would know. But we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
Wait and see.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, clearly you shouldn't be picked as a pope based on your skin color. You should be picked as a pope if you're just qualified to be the pope for your for an entire religion, for an entire state. Yes, you should be qualified based on your skin color, you know, or based on yeah, just not based on your skin color or anything. If you're qualified, you're qualified, and that's the standard that they should they should think about. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
At least 3 injured after car drives into crowd in Stuttgart.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So a car drives into the crowd and injured 3 people in the process.
Yes.
Well, I will say this: it's a blessing that no one got killed. I will say that. It's
Yes. I would say the same.
yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that they got injured, but
But at least they'll get to live another day.
that's true. Hey, I'm glad that they get to live another day at least. I mean, that's good. Obviously, that person who drove the car in the crowd should obviously have charges on them. Should obviously have charges pressed on them. But other than that, it's good that oh, golly, okay, it's good that for that everyone was safe. I mean, and the fact that it was only 3 people that got injured, that's not good, but it's better than like 50 people getting injured or 50 people getting killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's that. I would prefer that alternative better than people getting killed, than a bunch of people getting injured or killed. So you know, but is there any more in the news?
Vatican firefighters installed chimney on roof of Sistine Chapel for papal election.
Interesting. Any more on that news?
Vatican firefighters installed a chimney on the Sistine Chapel roof to signal the election outcome during the conclave starting May 7th, 2025. For voting, 133 cardinal electors under 80 will burn ballots in a special stove inside the chapel, producing black smoke if no pope is elected. White smoke indicates a successful election and results from burning ballots with chemicals, as seen with white smoke appeared on March 13th, 2013, announcing Pope Francis. This chimney installation marks a key preparation stage for the conclave and will visually communicate the election results to the public outside the Vatican.
Well, I don't really have that many initial thoughts on that. How about you?
I wonder, how did the Vatican address to the public whether or not an election was successful? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. How did they address that?
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. I personally would not know how, but I know that it clearly happened. But how? That's a good question.
yes, indeed it is.
Do you think we'll ever get that answer?
There may be something online, but who knows that if there is something about what was what was it like addressing to the public an election outcome before letting out smoke out of the chimney, I think it'll be very hard to find it if it was something if there was something that was used centuries ago, let alone decades.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else in the news?
As of this recording, England local elections had just happened yesterday and today throughout today all day. The results from the local elections has, by little, one by one, has been shown to the public through major news outlets, mainly the BBC, because, well, last time I checked, I think the BBC is the only news outlet that's actually reporting on the local elections. And now, if you were to ask Risk a year or two ago, he'll be thrilled, he'll be happy, jumping on his feet. But after hearing what was going on with reform and the likelihood that there's always a price, some kind of theatrics going on, it's a grey area in his opinion. But I will say right now that the outcome of this year's local elections, 2025, Reform UK has won loads, and I mean loads, of council seats, followed by the Liberal Democrats, who has managed to win 50 more council seats than the Tories, which is that would be a surprise to a lot of people, given that not many people pay attention to local elections. But well, you never know what goes on in local elections because, well, for one thing, it's localized. It's not like it's not like voting for a local MP to represent you in Westminster. That's going to be watched by everyone in the UK. Local elections apply within your council, so you go to town hall and ask for or being served different local services like getting the bins out or homes being built. But there's many other aspects and different governing levels in the UK. But yeah, local elections was very successful for reform. They got so as of the it's nearly finished the local elections, but as of I'm seeing it now, Reform UK has gotten at least 659 councillors, Lib Dems 366, the Tories 311, Labour 95, any independent candidates that aren't part of a party 88, and the Green Party with 77. And this is like selected local councils. The reason why there's local elections every year, because this is like general elections, so at least once every 5 years, there's a general election to elect a new prime minister. Likewise, in certain local councils, it's the same thing. It may not be once every 5 years, it could be once every 3 or 4 years. I had my last year, local elections for my metropolitan borough just happened, and, well, Labour managed to maintain control of that. So, and this is the first successful year for reform, where they've gotten not just hundreds upon hundreds of councillors, but they have also gotten control of they have now gotten control of 9 local councils, which is a record on its own. And then there's Liberal Democrats who've gotten control of 3 local councils, and the other parties, nothing. Well, the Tories used to control 15 local councils that are running this year's local elections, but, well, they've lost them all, mainly to Reform UK, so. Or it's the case that local councils have now lost overall control from that party, so the Tories are really, they are triggered right now. They are fuming that this is not the result that they would wanted. That's for sure.
Well, I will say this. As for risk, I mean, I'll say this, man. I mean, yeah, you're right. A year ago, he would have definitely been jumping for joy. He probably would have actually too. But yeah, you've seen a flaw in something and you automatically get turned off by it. And I will say this, when it comes to these elections, when it comes to these parties, when it comes to all of these things that are, well, that we can see, that are man-made, there's always going to be a problem with it. And I would say, like, the only thing that a person who does not have any ideology outside of, like, politics, you would have to pick the lesser of two evils. That's the problem. Or you could be like me, or anybody else. who doesn't necessarily who isn't necessarily like involved with politics like that, unless probably just a general election in my country, like just talking about like general elections in other people's countries like this. So yeah, like you're always gonna find a problem in each of these parties. It's just a matter of will you accept these minor problems and pay attention to like the things that they're doing that are good more than the things that they're doing that are bad. Second, congratulations to the Reform Party. Like it's very great that they had their first successful year. That is amazing. They got all the seats they needed, and they definitely got what they wanted. So congratulations. But yeah, it's like now we're gonna wait and see what they do. Like now that's where the real test comes into play. What will they do? Will they like uphold on whatever promises that they've made to the people, or will they backtrack or somehow think that they're upholding on the promises that they told the people, but in reality they're not. But they would like to believe and delude themselves to believe they are. So it's just a matter of what will happen next. Now that we are here, now that we're at the quote unquote promised land, quote unquote promised land, how will we get to actually no. They're not even at the promised land yet. Now that they're at the first finish line, how will they get to the promised land, quote unquote? That's the real question. How will they get the things that they want to get done? And when will they get the things that they want to get done? Or what the people want them to get done? And will anything really change under their rule? Will anything change under them? That question remains unsolved for the time being and unknown for the time being until they actually get something done. Then we'll truly see what they're all about. Yeah, talk is good. Yeah, talk is cheap. Talk is good and all, but it's also cheap. So therefore, reform, congratulations. But let's see what you can do now because you're here. You're at the finish line. Now let's see you get to the quote unquote promise. But other than that,
Indeed.
congratulations. What did you say?
Indeed. I was agreeing with you.
Yes. But hey, but other than that, congratulations, Reform Party. But but let's see what you can do. Congratulations, though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's quite impressive.
it is indeed impressive. But hey, so was Trump's landslide. It was impressive.
Yes, it,
But
it really was.
but then again, we knew he was gonna win. But hey, it
Yeah.
was impressive. But
Yeah,
now
that's true.
let's see what they can do. And so far, well, let's cut them some slack. They just won. But as for Trump, all he's been talking about is all he's been talking about as of late is tariffs. But this is not
Yep.
about Trump. This is not about Trump. This is about the UK reform.
Yes.
Congratulations. But is there anything else in the news?
Serbian students unions join forces for anti-corruption protest.
Oh, okay. Anti-corruption protest. Anti-corruption on. I mean, that might be something good. What are they? What corruption are they protesting about specifically? Government.
Serbia's trade unions will join a protest with student leaders for the first time on May 1st in Belgrade. The students announced that their struggle enters a new phase on their official Instagram accounts.
Interesting.
Zeljko Veselinovic, leader of the Sloga Union, emphasized the importance of this development. The students plan to move beyond blockades that have kept facilities closed for months. Every
Sometimes they
other
can.
episode, yes.
I really have nothing to say other than just, I guess, good luck. Good luck to them. I don't even want to bash protests because they're not bad. They're not a bad thing, but it's also like, what are you gonna do after the protest? That's the question.
Yeah.
What-
What is the long-term plan afterwards?
Exactly. It's like with most people, there's really no long term. It's just whine, whine, and hope something gets done.
They
And
mainly just think about the present time execution of the protest, just getting the message out to the point that the media gets attention, they interview the protesters to raise awareness, and just go off that. I don't think I've heard many other alternatives beyond those states of protest.
yeah, I 100% agree. I haven't really heard much either in regards to that. I think people protest so they can get the interview and then probably gain a huge following on Instagram, but then ultimately do nothing in regards to the problem. Because I'm not gonna lie, most people don't take action. Most people are either too lazy or just don't think of the long term plan for what they're protesting about. Most people are too comfortable nowadays with doing nothing. I mean, like, shoot, I can protest all I want, but what's that gonna do? What is that going to do? Get me on the news? Get me an interview? Maybe, yeah, sure, but
It
after
does
that,
work,
then
but what happens after that?
exactly nothing. Nothing. I mean, if you get a huge fan base that protests with you, and maybe you can go to court and get something changed, sure, fine. I'll applaud you for that. But if you're just gonna scream and shout and complain and hope something gets done, hope you get notoriety on the news, social media, everywhere, then you're lazy. Yeah, sure, you're going out to scream, but bro, you're lazy. Like, do something. Do something other than just scream and shout and complain and just whine and moan and just whine. Do something else because everyone does that.
Or
But does any
at least have a plan. It doesn't matter what the
exactly?
plan is, but at least, even if you do go out protesting for whatever cause it might be, at least having a plan after the protest, only then they could get more attention for that plan alone rather than more than the protest. Think
Yeah,
about that. That would be interesting for me to see. 'Cause I'm just curious about that.
me too. I mean, like, even if it's a laughable plan, at least have something going on. Even if you get laughed at about it, as long as it's able to work, fine. Or
And you
even
get
if like
attention for it. It's worth something.
that's true. And yeah, you'll be seen as like a one of the greatest modern day activists. I mean, there's Greta Thunberg, but no offense, who cares? Who cares? I'm pretty sure she's a sweet girl, sweet woman. She's 18, right? 18, 19. She's one of those three. Anyways, I know she's not a teenager. I think so. She looks like one, but she's not. Anywho, yeah. I mean, just yeah. Then you'll be part. Then you'll be like one of these modern day, one of the greatest modern day activists ever. If you actually got something done, and yeah, you'll reap the benefits. You'll get the thing. You'll make some money. You'll be able to make appearances anytime you want. It's you got to put in the work. That's the problem. Or that's not even a problem putting in the work. It's like I mean, it's a problem if you're lazy, but that's about it. You just got to put in the work, put in the hours. Just make sure that people hear this message ultimately, and yeah, that's all you have to really do. Just make sure the message reaches out to the masses, and obviously get the masses involved. I can donate. I can do something. I can sign a. I don't think it's gonna do anything. Sign a petition. Something. Actually, no. I mean, actually, no. Petition is nothing if you're not gonna set it on someone's desk or set it on someone's desk to set it on the court with them kind of making a unanimous decision to like do this and that, etc. It won't mean a thing if you're just gonna scream and shout and let it all out. I forgot where I got that from, but I know it's like it's a song. I scream and shout and let it all. I think that's a song, right? I feel like it is.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, gotcha. I should probably look it up. I feel like I heard it somewhere before. Probably like from the early 2000s. Maybe possibly 90s. I'm not sure. Or early 2000s. I'm not sure. But that's besides the point. The point is take action other than just screaming and shouting and letting it all out. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Is there anything else in the news?
I think that's us.
All right, peace.
Peace.